Hey guys, welcome to another critique video. I got a bunch of new submissions from you, ready to be destroyed. Just kidding, I'm gonna try to be nice. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you for everybody who's submitting all their assignments in the Facebook group. You guys are doing a good job, but I noticed in this one that there were a lot of very similar errors. For those of you who didn't submit any assignments, since there were so many people doing these same few common things, there's probably a good chance that you're doing the same thing. So pay attention. These are common mistakes that I'm seeing with the triceps. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The first submission is from Eryk. Poke place. All right, Eryk, so I want to start off by saying I really like the way you're studying. You're taking notes as you're watching the videos, so that's a lot better way of retaining the information. If you just watch the videos, you know, you'll remember some of it, but if you actually take notes, you write down the things that you didn't already know, you draw little diagrams of the things that you're learning, much more likely that you're going to remember the stuff if you actually take notes and you draw it. So great job in the way you're studying. I want to point out a few things, a few of the little notes that you took. This is great. The shape of the tendon, that's a very important one when you're drawing triceps, and specifically this last one, this shape here, because that's really the final shape. The four shapes you drew, that was kind of like me describing how the actual shape of the tendon differs from just a vertical box with like a house roof on top. So the final shape that we actually want to look for is this bottom right one that you drew. The things that are important to know about that shape, this top plane is diagonal and this one is a little bit more vertical. So the one on the right, the lateral one, it's diagonal, but it's almost horizontal. The medial one is diagonal, but it's more vertical. So they're not like this, they're not symmetrical. And then also the fact that the tendon overall has an angle to it going outward. So with that in mind, let's look at these two drawings you did here. This first one, look at the tendon shape you drew. You drew that the first one. That's not correct. You gotta look for the roof going like this with a little shorter one here. Also, it's a little bit longer, or it should be a little bit longer than you indicated, probably up to here. The tendon varies a little bit. Some people have very short tendons, some very long tendons, but in general, when you're learning these diagrams, you're kind of just creating like a idealized version, right? You're not drawing anybody specific. So when you're drawing these idealized diagrams, try to draw an actual idealized version. And short tendons like this, short symmetrical tendons like this are not idealized. This right here, that's the idealized version. So one of the most common issues that I'm seeing with you guys in these triceps assignments is symmetry. Too much symmetry. Let's look at this muscle. We already talked about the tendon being symmetrical, but there's also the muscle bellies. These shapes that you drew, they're two exact same shapes. They're at the same level, they're the same size, and they attach to the tendon in the same way. They're way too symmetrical. What you want to look for is the lateral head being much shorter. So let me erase these little notes that I got. Start a fresh page. The first thing you want to look at or think about is the angle of the apex points from lateral to long head. So for example, on this one, kind of like the middle is like right there, right? The apex of that curve is right there. On this one, the apex is probably a little bit a little bit lower on yours. So you kind of have an angle like this, because this muscle is going all the way down here. It's going to be the opposite. You want to look for an angle this way. So let's draw a better tendon in here. Something like that. That's the tendon shape we're going to see. So this shape I like for the long head. You did a good job. But then the lateral head, this is the apex here. I'm going to draw the lateral head apex all the way up here. And then you can do a little tail coming down from that. And then medial head. Don't forget about the medial head. Okay, so that's how you're going to find asymmetry. This is going to be a repeating thing I'm going to mention throughout these critiques because a lot of you guys are doing this. But on your second page, I noticed that there were a few of them in here that you did add asymmetry to, so that's good. This one's a little bit more horizontal and then more vertical in this one with a little bit lower long head, a little bit higher lateral head, so that's good asymmetry. Also the tendon shape is a little bit better. But in here, you kind of have two of the same shapes again. So I would have brought this one up, made it a little bit more horizontal. Same thing in here, too much symmetry. Same thing here, too much symmetry. And then also you labeled medium head. You probably mean the medial head, but I don't see it on your drawing, right? It would be right through here. Remember, it lies under the tendon and it kind of pokes out, mostly on the inside of the arm, but sometimes a little bit on the outside as well. And this tendon is way too short. It would be like that long. But I do want to point out one more thing that you're doing that's actually really good. I like how you're containing your shadow shapes. See how you have this really nice outline. You could have adjusted or been a little bit more specific with the edge that you're using. You're using a hard edge around all of these in this drawing specifically. Try to put some softer edges, some firmer edges. Vary up the edge work a little bit to describe the form better. But the fact that you're containing your shapes, you're going to get a good three-dimensional feel already just by really clearly separating a light plane from a shadow plane. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you'll see in some of the future critiques in this lesson, I point out a few of you guys are not containing your shapes very well. You're using cross-hatching, but it's very ambiguous, very soft, and incomplete, and the forms don't look very three-dimensional. So you'll see that later on, and this is a good example of somebody who is containing the shapes, so keep that in mind. All right, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. If you did, there's a bunch of other critiques in the premium section. I go over a few of the other common mistakes I noticed for the triceps lesson. We talk about asymmetry, avoiding just bubbly shapes or bubbly forms, and trying to make your arms more dynamic. Talk a little bit about shading, how to not just do two-dimensional shapes and all that stuff. So a lot more stuff in the premium section. If you want to go check it out, it's at proko.com/anatomy. And don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter at proko.com/subscribe. All right, guys, thanks for your support.